what what's going on for you? And by that I mean, like, is anybody furloughed? Are people working from home? Anything like that, just to get an idea of like who's here and what's going on for you. And then in addition to that, if you could share kind of like how this pandemic has been impacting your energy levels and your mood, because I'd love to hear about that. All right, Laura, working from home. All right, you guys are all working from home. That's awesome. That's what I'm doing. It's sometimes not awesome because I got the kid and the husband here too, working in the shop. All right, cool. All right, thanks guys. So I'm glad you could join me for this Increase Your Energy workshop. We're going to talk about habits that give you good energy and which ones rob you of it, how sleep impacts your health and your mood, and how to manage stress, anxiety, and fear so you can cultivate balance, harmony, and joy in times of uncertainty. And I actually created this workshop. It's not what its original form was. They had to kind of adapt it to the times we're in. The YWCA in Southern Arizona here, they asked for that specifically for their community. And so I hope that this will be helpful to all of you. I'm pretty sure it will be. And, you know, does anybody else here, let me know if this is true for you, but I feel like this whole thing is like I'm busier than ever now. It's like I think because Kim was talking earlier about how people are kind of burned out on Zoom, I kind of feel like people feel like they are entitled to monopolize your time with these Zoom calls because you're working from home, because you don't have anywhere to go. And that's really probably not appropriate. And this is like a good time for you to think about setting up boundaries and honoring your own boundaries of yeses and nos. I'm going to talk about that. So it says, Dina alternates between too much mental activity and feeling drained. I hear that. Energy depends on the day. Kate. Laura says it depends on the day. It's hard to predict what my energy level will be. Okay. All right. Yeah, I hear that. So, and Vicky is now furloughed. Okay. Well, hopefully that won't last too long. I know that's just been hitting people really hard here too. All right. So how did I end up here talking to you about energy, mood, and stress? I enjoy an abundance of energy. I get great sleep. I have low blood pressure and glowing skin, but it wasn't always this way. I used to struggle so much to fall asleep and stay asleep. I had sleep terrors every night, sleep paralysis. I had nightmares, insomnia. And so you can imagine this left me feeling really drained. And I turned to caffeine in the morning, alcohol at night. And then I would try to really just like stay so busy all the time that I would feel exhausted enough to fall asleep at night, which didn't work. It really only led to more burnout and exhaustion, more stress, more sleepless nights. And at my lowest point, I was so tired that I was like missing appointments. I was dropping the ball with obligations that I had. I was super forgetful. I had this like mental fog and my mental health was failing. I just couldn't be there for my family the way that I wanted to. I was too tired to make good choices regarding my health. I was depressed and anxious, and I felt trapped in a cycle that seemed like it would never stop. And I knew something needed to change because I wasn't treating myself with the love and respect I deserved. And that's when I discovered this thing that changed everything. At first, I was skeptical, but then I thought, like, what might happen if I didn't at least try? So I followed through in a way that I never have before. Within 1 month, I was falling asleep easily, just head hits the pillow, snoozing away. I was sleeping through the night. My energy levels went soaring, and I had more clarity than I had had in years. I felt present with my family again, and I was able to excel at my job. I was happier in every area of my life, and I looked forward to doing all the things that seemed exhausting before. And I felt this glow of good health, and then people were starting to notice the difference. So this is the exciting thing, and a lot of my clients, this is the part where they get excited, is like that's where their friends and their family are starting to notice the difference. So I started getting a lot of compliments, and people said that I looked amazing, like I had completely transformed, and they all wanted to know what I was doing. And one of my coworkers was always telling me, I never have enough energy. I'm tired all day and I can't get to sleep at night. And one of my friends was telling me I fall asleep and then I wake up 2 hours later, I toss and turn for another 2 hours. And honestly, I hear this from almost every single person I talk to. It's just such a common issue, but it doesn't have to be that way. So after hearing all this, after what I'd been through and what I had overcome, I developed a system called the Increase Your Energy Total Transformation to teach people how to double their energy without having to give up the things that they love. So I started out with just 2 clients and expanded from there. And I think in the last year, 24 clients have successfully learned how to increase their energy, improve their mood, and reduce stress using the exact steps I'm going to teach you right now. Now, it is my goal to help you connect the dots and show you exactly how you can do this too, no matter how far off track you fall in. And I think this is a really interesting time because when everything started getting locked down, I thought nobody's going to want this workshop. I'm probably going to have to cancel it because nobody wants energy right now. They all just want to chill. Like nobody is worried about energy. Then I started talking to people, talking to my clients, and they really were feeling like really drained. So I'm happy to be here, and you're in the right place if you're feeling anxious, stressed out, or drained. You're having trouble sleeping during this challenging time. You want to discover what is keeping you stuck so you can get unstuck. And you're ready to get quality rest so you can improve your mood, your health, and have the energy to shine in every area of your life. So if these describe you, then you are in exactly the right place. In fact, if this is you, it's no accident that we're here together. Because today I'm going to show you how to get quality rest and increase your energy so you can experience a total transformation that gives you your best health, your best moods, and your best life ever. So we have a limited amount of time together, thank goodness, because I know everybody's kind of burned out on these Zoom meetings, right? And if you're watching the replay, it's awesome because you can just relax and not have to worry about being on camera. If anybody's tired of being on camera, I totally understand if you want to turn your video off, but I love seeing your face. So I'm going to teach you as much as I can about our topic today, and then I promise before we finish, I'll show you how to take it further if you want to. To begin, there are 3 main challenges that all my clients and most people have when they attempt to make changes. I'll say the first challenge is wondering why the heck they feel exhausted and stressed in the first place and what to do about it. So let's solve that mystery right now, shall we? Let me know in the chat if you are ready to solve this mystery of why. And you can just say yes and ready here. Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Why stress happens to us in the first place. Stress is a response to a stimulus. And often it's something negative or threatening. It can be fun stuff too. I know that sometimes when you're about to go on a trip to Hawaii, you might be stressed, which is terrible, but it happens. So stress, it makes us alert. It diverts blood flow away from our internal organs and out to our limbs and brain for quick thinking and quick action. And our prehistoric ancestors benefited greatly from this, right? This response when they were being chased by a lion, let's say, or a bear. That stress response is probably why we're all here today. So none of us are being chased by lions now, but we respond in the same way, like when our boss is yelling at us, or even when we're just thinking about a situation that was scary for us. Our body and brain respond the same way, whether we're thinking about it or it's actually happening. So when we have chronic stress, it becomes toxic and interferes with many of our body systems. So remember that the blood flow is getting diverted away from internal organs to the limbs and brain. So if that's happening all the time, you're not digesting your food, your blood pressure is going to go, all these things are going to happen. Blood sugar imbalance can lead to low energy and a bad mood. So that's one of the things that'll happen if you're under this chronic stress. Blood pressure and heart health definitely affected. And it can cause inflammation and autoimmune conditions. These tend to hit women particularly hard. And the biggest challenge here is that we know about these things, but it's difficult to make changes because our families and our friends and our colleagues, they still need us. So when I'm working with my clients to help them increase their energy, we look at their lifestyle. Here's an example of one of my clients, April. I love her. She had a high-powered job as a government liaison for a successful company, and she also had her own consulting business on the side. Every night after she got the kids to bed, she would just like slump on the sofa and eat like half a bag of potato chips, or she confessed a whole bag, with a glass or two or three of wine. And then she would like eat some candy or whatever and just like stare at the TV until she fell asleep and wake up the next day, and the cycle would repeat. I'm just laughing because when she was telling me about this as I was coaching her, she said, and I have her full permission to tell this story, by the way. She said this thing about falling asleep in front of the TV, or what did she tell me? She said, I just really like to watch TV and then I fall asleep. And I said, what show are you watching, or what movie? And she said, I don't know, CIS. I was like, is that a show? Is that really a show? I think it was CSI or it was NCIS, but she couldn't remember the title of it. So as we worked together, she discovered that she believed she had to overachieve to prove that she was a good wife, a good mom, and a competent professional. I mean, does this sound familiar to anybody? This knowledge, though, when she knew it, it empowered her to change, and she started by asking her husband to help with more of the house and kids duties so that she could go for walks or like go to an evening yoga class. And this completely transformed her cravings and those things she was doing kind of compulsively into healthy habits. And the best part is that her relationship with her husband got more intimate and she wasn't resenting him. And it turned out that he loved feeling like he was contributing. So everybody wins. So let's move on to the second challenge around overcoming stress and exhaustion. And that is, no one wants to change their behavior because eating sugar feels good, because drinking wine feels good. Binging a show on Netflix is more fun than going to bed early, right? So it's only natural to attempt to bring balance back into our lives when we've been going like full speed ahead, full of stress all day. Our body's trying to get us into a state of relaxation, and the path of least resistance is sugary foods, alcohol, vegging out in front of the TV, or scrolling through our social media feeds. But as we all know, there's a dark side to all of this, which brings me to my absolute favorite topic, and that is sleep. Did you know that we humans spend about 1/3 of our life sleeping? Sleep plays an important role in our health. In fact, I would argue that it is the foundation of good health, but it often takes a backseat to diet and exercise. I've talked to people who have like been just struggling and they tell me what their habits are, and it's like, I get up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, and I say, what time do you go to bed? It's just clearly not enough sleep. So getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night helps repair and build muscle. It balances blood sugar. It improves your mood, memory, and willpower, and it protects your heart from heart disease. It regulates appetite, and it makes you look more attractive. It also protects your mental functioning. It prevents anxiety and depression and allows you to make better decisions about your health. And if all this isn't enough to get you on the sleep bandwagon, studies have shown that it has protective effects against dementia and Alzheimer's. So the first thing that I work on my clients with is sleep. When you haven't had enough sleep, you will not have willpower to resist the chocolate or the Netflix. And we'll come back to this, but I want to share with you now the final challenge that I found. So the third and final challenge to overcoming stress and exhaustion that I experienced myself, and I noticed a lot of my clients do too, is that we simply don't know what is giving us energy and what is taking away. And I totally get that. In today's busy world, like we don't have that time to stop and examine our lives and overall to like really get a handle on what to add or what to subtract from them. And that might sound overwhelming, but my clients tell me that it ends up being really empowering, really liberating to look at their life and see, what can I control? What can I be intentional about? What to add? What to take away? And in my group coaching programs, one of the first things we talk about are behaviors that and foods that give energy. Then we talk about which things are taking that energy away. I do this on my 5-day challenges as well. So the ones that taking the energy away, I like to call them the energy vampires. And once we figure out what's giving, what's taking away, people start to see results. They tell me they have more patience with their family and more energy to do things like cook healthy meals. So I'd love to know from everybody right now, and if you can type in the chat, I'd love to know what is one thing that you could be doing that you know would give you more energy. Kate, exercise. Tina, go to sleep before 11 p.m. I love that one. Oh, I miss socializing in front. Yes, that energizes me too. Regular sleep schedule. Yes, exercise. Absolutely. Regular schedule, Vicky. Laura, socializing and more sleep. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So this is all great. And I told you guys all the challenges, but you didn't just show up here for the problems. You came here for solutions, I assume. So let's look at how we get started on increasing energy and managing stress, even if you've never done it before. So I'm going to give you these 7 ways, and you don't have to write this down because I'm actually, Kim's going to send you an email. It's going to have a questionnaire. And when you fill that out, you can opt into it and I will send you the handout. There's no obligations or anything like that. I just like to have the feedback on my questionnaire. So there are 7 ways you can increase your energy, manage stress, anxiety, and fear, and get better sleep, create more joy and harmony and balance. And you can just listen and take these in and just know that they're all written down. They'll be emailed to you. So, number 1 solution, mindfulness and meditation. So, have you ever had that experience of being totally exhausted and you can't wait for bedtime? Then your head hits the pillow and your mind starts racing. And I just saw like a really funny meme about like people who say that they just go to sleep at night and sleep through the night. Sorry, there's an airplane going over. And then it said something like, what? You don't plot an epic 6-book novel or 6-book series and revisit all the mistakes you made in your life. So this is common. This is what happens when you go to sleep sometimes, right? Or you wake up in the middle of the night with the racing thoughts. These things are like the unresolved thoughts and feelings that you didn't deal with during the day. So I always like to say, like, sleep starts as soon as you wake up in the morning. Like, you're setting yourself up for sleep the moment you wake up. And so what happens is you didn't deal with those during the day. You're kind of putting them back in the back of your mind, and that's going to cause anxiety and depletion. So taking just 10 minutes out of your day to sit quietly can help us sort through our thoughts and help us fall asleep faster and stay asleep. I always like to teach my clients brain dumps, which is a writing exercise. I like to, there's a thing about meditation that people are like, everybody should do it, it's great. I really wouldn't suggest it for people who have PTSD, depression, if you're prone to rumination. That would be, maybe you would think about doing mindfulness exercises or something else, walk the dog, something like that to process those thoughts. But I would say at some point you would be able to meditate, but I would say, well, if you're experiencing that PTSD right now, I would stick to mindfulness, other mindfulness, and not just try to sit quietly in stillness. All right, so solution number 2, we're going to identify the foods that give you energy and which foods deplete energy. So you're going to take some time to become really mindful after you eat a meal, figure out how you feel. You're going to take note of if you feel sluggish, have brain fog, bloating. Sometimes like when you eat salty, it's too salty, you're feeling thirsty, but you don't really take note of it. So we're going to take note of it and really get mindful of that. If you feel jittery or hyper. And then on the other side, like, which foods make you feel grounded or light or energetic or fueled, nourished, things like that. So once you've been doing this for like 4 to 6 days, you'll have an idea of like which foods are energy boosters and which ones are energy thieves. Number 3 solution is sleep. Ah, my favorite. So for many of us, it's easier said than done. But if you're constantly tired, your body is going to look for energy, usually in the form of sugar or caffeine. Power down an hour earlier than usual, banish screens from the bedroom, and create a restful atmosphere using essential oils, soft music, or meditation. The power down hour, all of my clients that actually stick to that, they feel 100 times better. It just really adds up. So you don't necessarily have to go to sleep. You can read a book, anything like that. But I love the power down hour. All right, solution number 4. Let's talk about media consumption a little bit. I wanted to bring this around to like what's actually happening right now. And I will say, be mindful of your media consumption, obviously, because if you're looking at stuff like your Facebook feed right before you go to bed or right when you wake up in the morning, there's like a 50-50 chance something's going to be really crappy on there, and it's going to make you feel bad. So what I would say, and just for today, because it's Giving Tuesday, and I wanted to talk to you all about that. So I have a little story. It was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and there was something in the news that was like really, really getting to me. In fact, I even went to the doctor because I could not figure out what was wrong with me. I was just really just a wreck. And she said, is something going on? What's bothering you? And I was like, this thing in the news. And she said, oh, a lot of my patients have been telling me that. And so she gave me some advice and stuff. And so she said, you're not your thoughts, things that doctors say. And then I sat in my car and I said, this is my plan. My plan is to write a letter to my congressional representatives and anyone else who's involved. And then I'm going to give money directly to the people who are helping out with this problem that's bothering me. So this is one of the things that actually, weirdly enough, giving money to a cause that you care about can really help, boost your energy. There is like some kind of, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not a neuroscientist or anything, but there is just some kind of really cool endorphins or something that come up when you give. And if you don't have money to give, I would say time. If you have, if we weren't in this social distancing situation, I would say go wash dishes for your mom or somebody who's depressed or something. Just getting with other people to solve a problem by giving and being generous. When this whole thing went down, I started just giving away 45-minute coaching sessions to whoever wanted them. So that's a really good one. That's a surprising one. Solution number 5, check your beverages. I don't think I have to tell you, I'm never going to tell somebody to not drink coffee, but I would suggest that you maybe limit it to 1 or 2, stop drinking it by noon. Right now, I've found myself, not right now today, but when this first started happening, I found myself drinking coffee all day because it was there on the pot. Usually I'll have tea at work or something, but yeah, the coffee's there. I'll just keep drinking it. So I had to stop myself. And since then I've been getting better sleep. Your alcohol, a lot of people probably know this by now, but I'm surprised at how many people don't. Alcohol can make you drowsy, but then it's going to start burning up in your system 3 hours later. So let's say you went to bed at midnight and you're up at 3. It could be a glass of wine you had. I don't know. So make sure you stay hydrated. Water. It's funny because people do forget how energizing it could be to be hydrated and have enough water. I don't know how it is exactly where you all live. My husband's family lives in Minneapolis, and the water is so delicious there. But I think here it's a little bit harder. So maybe putting strawberries in your water or cucumber, something like that, but just to make sure that you stay hydrated. All right, solution number 6, we're getting down to it. Laura, I can't keep enough Diet Mountain Dew on my shelf. Movement is another kind of food for your body. There's something that I found out not too long ago about nutritious movement, and there's these connective tissues in your body and blood doesn't flow to them. So you need to get the blood and the muscles flowing around them. So it's kind of they call that nutritious movement. And I thought that was really beautiful. So you could probably get to sleep better any given night if you did like 30 minutes of exercise that day. Number 7 solution. Here we go. And this is by far my favorite solution, and I wish I could take credit for it, but it was actually created by the amazing celebrity life coach, Brendon Burchard. It's called Release Tension, Set Intention. And this one has to do with transitions. Transitions are the things that happen during the day where you go from one thing to the next thing. When you get out of your car to go to work, you've just been driving in traffic. It's really been stressful, but you didn't take time to leave that in traffic. You're carrying it with you. And it's like your bag keeps getting heavier and heavier all day. You went to work for the morning, all the stressful things that might have happened at work, all the things in your mind. You're going to go to lunch, but you're carrying those with you. You're going to keep carrying them with you and carrying them with you until you get to home at the end of the day and you're being a real big jerk to your family. So, and I'm just speaking from personal experience, this is what really helped me. From one activity to the next, you want to create a transition that actually transforms your energy and doesn't deplete it. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to take 2 minutes. That's it, 2 minutes, guys. If you only have 1 minute, I get it, but 2 minutes. And you're going to sit there and you're going to breathe for 2 minutes. Whatever breathing technique works for you best. I have a few that I teach my clients. But you're going to take those 2 minutes and just let that tension drain out of your body. You're going to release that tension. And you're going to set intention for who you want to be when you go to do the next thing, the next activity. And that's really important, especially if you're going to go inside and see your family. So I even put reminders on my alarm of 3 words of what I want to be when I go inside. You can put on a sticky note, whatever. I might put like loving, patient, fun, something like that. That's also something I got from Brendon Burchard. I can't take credit for it, but it works. So try that. So those are the 7 solutions, and some of you are going to want to take this further and deeper. So as I promised, I'd like to share with you how you can do that. So my question for you all now, and you can answer this in the chat, is who here feels 100% confident that they can walk away from this talk and like kick their stress and exhaustion to the curb, no problem? So type into the chat like what percentage of confidence that you have that you can overcome lack of energy on your own right now. Okay, 65%, 70%. Okay, that's pretty good. 50%, 80. Oh, okay, 32. All right, I like the 32%. That's my kind of answer. It's just little percentages. So we've actually left out 3 key ingredients, and that these 3 ingredients put this all together. Without these 3 key ingredients, we stay in the same patterns and repeat the same old behaviors that keep us stuck. Some of us do really well for a while. We get some new information, renew our commitments to follow through, take consistent action for a week or 2. We convince ourselves that this time it's going to be different. And then what happens? Our motivation fizzles out when we fall off track. How many people know what to do, but don't always do it? Yeah, most of us. And that's because knowing isn't enough. It's not what motivates us into action. We have plenty of information. We have Google. We have, I shouldn't say plenty of it. We have every bit of information at our fingertips, but we're not putting it into practice. So the three key ingredients that bring this all together are the right system, the right support, and the right accountability. So we've got information. You don't need more of that. What we do need to make this time different is someone to encourage our progress and someone to kick us in the butt when we make poor choices. So since none of you are 100% sure you're ready to do this on your own, I'd like to invite you to have a free initial discovery session with me. This is a 45-minute private consultation where we'll be looking at what your habits mean, why you're stuck, and how to get unstuck, and what your plan of action is to experience a total transformation. So you would invest 45 minutes of your time, and I guarantee you will walk away with at least one major aha about how to break out of the rut and get into action. So I want to invite you to open up to the possibility that this time really can be different, that you haven't tried everything, that even those of you who are relatively healthy already might be missing something that can make it all better. And this is an opportunity to get curious about how healthy you can be. Um, I'll just tell you really quick about this client I had, that she had very low energy and really low self-esteem. She had been suffering with several autoimmune conditions, which this isn't that uncommon for women. I think my sister has like 5 of them. They were causing her to be burnt out and exhausted. She was missing out on a lot because she had a lot of shame around her psoriasis. She had really severe plaque psoriasis. And her family was actually getting really tired of her because she was complaining so much. And she did try a few protocols that she found online and in books, but she would abandon them after a few days. So she never saw any long-term results. So knowing there had to be a better way, she reached out to me, and we worked on removing all the toxic buildup from the inside out. And we identified the food, lifestyle, social, and stress factors that were causing the inflammation. And then we came up with results-oriented solutions to help her implement these things without feeling deprived. And within 4 weeks, her skin had almost completely cleared up. She was joining her family for activities, and she was actually surprised at how easy and fun it was to implement the necessary changes. So what makes this program unique is that we focus on what you get to have rather than what you don't. And I think that's what that client was, I think that's what she was experiencing whenever she'd go to do those protocols. She was like, I can't have ice cream, I can't have bread, I can't, whatever it was. But suffering to heal doesn't make sense. So when I work with a client, I want to inspire you to reclaim your health in a way that is natural, fun, and sustainable. My clients tell me that I'm part cheerleader and part tough love coach. So those are 2 ingredients that are proven to make all the difference between staying stuck or breaking out of a rut. And if you're ready for the accountability, the system, and the support that is going to make this work like nothing you've ever tried, then I invite you to a free initial discovery session. This is a 45-minute private consultation with me. This is done over the phone. We'll look at what your cravings are telling you and how to get unstuck and into action, and what your plan of action is to experience a total transformation. So here's what's to do next. Kim is going to send out a short survey. Thank you, Kim, for agreeing to do that. You're awesome. The last question on the survey is just a checkbox. If you want to know what your habits mean and how to transform them, you're going to check that box to schedule a complimentary discovery session. I typically charge $89 for these sessions, but because you're here tonight, that's my gift to you. And anybody who's catching the replay, just contact me and let me know where you saw this, and I can offer you the same session. So all you have to do is show up for yourself. And I promise, even if you're the type of person who feels like, oh my gosh, I can't give up my TV time after I put my kids to bed, I have a lot of clients like that. And I promise you will learn something surprising about those habits. So go ahead and check that box, and I'll follow up within 24 hours. And you would invest 45 minutes, and I guarantee you will walk away with at least one insight about why you're stuck and how to get unstuck. And then once I have your survey, I'm going to send you the 7 solutions document that I promised and that I went over, and I will email this. Kim will email the survey to you, so don't worry, you'll be getting it. Before we close, I would love to, I think we're going to have questions and answers if that's okay. But I'd also love to know like any insights or appreciations or ahas or anything like that, or any takeaways, really. Any takeaways that anybody has, if you want to type them in, or we can just chat. Thank you so much, everyone, by the way.
One of the things that came up for me, so thank you, Sophia. I appreciate your talk today. It's super helpful. I like this idea of releasing tension, setting intention. I don't think as a woman that I'm exceptional at that. I think I just carry it around with me wherever I go. And I'm wondering, I know you mentioned just the practice of breathing. But also that maybe you're setting the intention of 3 words. I'm wondering what others are doing to really help either set the intention for the day or in a specific scenario, or other ways to just sort of like rid yourself of the heaviness of what.
You know, there's all kinds of different ways, and I find, honestly, sometimes I find that this is just like this is just the entry point, like the starter kit of this, because a lot of times my clients will, I'll ask them, this is like one of our first sessions, I'll ask them to create an anchor, and it anchors in whatever the goals and whatever the intentions that they had that we created in that session. So sometimes they, what it they'll just, you know, figure out like, okay, you could go by, oh, what is somebody, who's somebody I admire. I admire the way they are around their family or around their coworkers. What are the three qualities that they have that I love? And those could be your three words. And there's another one where it's like every time you go through a doorway, you can touch the doorway and uh, and think of an intention for that room that you're going into. There's just all kinds of transitional things. We do it with children all the time. We have a cleanup song, like right when it's time to clean up, we have a cleanup song. We have a thing we do, like everybody walks in and washes their hands and has their snack, and it's just like we do it for kids, but we don't do it for ourselves. So anything that you can come up with that's creative for you would be excellent, and I'd love to hear about it. Does that answer your question though? Okay.
I was just going to say that it's funny, you're the second person today, and I hadn't heard about this or thought about the transition. And I think maybe now, with so many people working from home, it's probably even more important, because we don't even have like, there, I mean, nowhere in Mankato's far, but we don't even have like the 5-minute drive. It's like you go from your office to your living room or kitchen. And so somebody else I talked to today said he always, every day either goes for a walk or goes for a drive, just like around the neighborhood, just to say, okay, that's done. Now I'm going home, because you're in the same place.
Yes.
And how do you stop one from interfering with the other? I don't know. I thought that was really interesting that you both said that, though. So.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, right now, especially.
I had two things that I really liked. One of them was the fact that with bipolar, I shouldn't be meditating, which when you say that, it makes perfect sense. But everybody says, oh, just meditate to help your mind. But it is a really bad place to be. The other thing, I've always done the transition between work and daycare, where I sit in my car for it's probably like 5-10 minutes. Sometimes the kids are crazy. So I just sit there so that when I pick them up, I'll do anything that I need to on my phone before I get them, but I never set the intention of what the rest of the evening's going to look like. So I really think just adding just those 3 words is really going to help solidify that transition rather than just taking a break in between the two. So I will definitely start that when they start going back to daycare.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to hear how it goes too. Yeah. Yeah, and I find that like there aren't enough people that know about the meditation thing, so I like to share that as much as I can so that people don't feel like they're a failure if they're not meditating. So. Anybody else have any questions or anything? I would kind of like to address Kim's question that she was asking before we started, if nobody else has a. No? Okay. So Kim was asking about sleep and age. And so what generally, and so this is kind of unfortunate with medical studies. So what I found out recently is that most medical studies have been done on men because they don't have the fluctuations in their hormones. So there are a lot of things that we don't really know about ourselves as far as that kind of empirical research goes. So generally, like for people who are about 25 or so to the age of 65, they're really similar with sleep patterns and stuff, except for women who are maybe between 50 and 60. There's going to be some differentiation because of the different hormones and stuff. So I know a couple of different coaches that just do menopause. Like that's all they work with, because there's like the premenopause and then the menopause and all that stuff. And then there's just I don't know, I have friends that are my age, I'm 40, and they're going through symptoms like that. And there's just like not enough information for them. So it's good to have somebody that's been through it before guide you through it. There is something to be said for sleep hygiene and for all the things that I said, but if those don't work, I really recommend seeing a sleep doctor, because there are, I believe, like 80 known sleep disorders, and that's the known sleep disorders. So it's probably pretty likely that everyone here has some variation of one. I'm really into that too, because I have a daughter that has narcolepsy, and I feel like if we hadn't been directed to the sleep doctor, it would be awful at this point, just awful. So there's all these things that underlying that could be there, but also it could just be a sleep disorder. Yeah, I have that sleep disorder too, the snoring husband sleep disorder. Yep. All right. I guess that's it. Is there anything else we should cover? Anything? Okay. And then if anybody's watching the replay of this, just feel free to ask questions and I'll come in and check it out. You can just tag me. My Facebook is Sofia Blue Coaching, and it's spelled with an F. For you guys that are here, I'll just spell it out. My mom's Mexican, so she spelled it with an F instead of a PH, because there's no PH in Spanish. And then my Instagram handle is, okay, nope, that's not it. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I'd love to continue to connect with everyone, and yeah, so hopefully see you soon.
Thank you so much, Sophia. I'm just going to, on behalf of everyone that made the call tonight, just want to thank you for your insight and your willingness to give of your time for all of us. Like, yeah, so many of the things that you said rang true to me, and I'm sure everyone else kind of everyone's leaving with some sort of takeaway. So in the email that I sent to the people that had, opted into this, I will make sure that we include your contact information, how to get in touch with you, your generous offer to do a free consult. That's very, very sweet of you. But yeah, just want to thank you for your time, and, just reiterating the message of what we stand for at the YWCA and just empowering women. Like, part of that is being at our best and our best health, whether it's physical, mental, whatever the case may be, and sleep really goes along with that. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I speak I believe for everyone else on the call. So thank you so much.
Thank you all so much.
Have a good night, everybody. I will be sending you guys the recording. So if you missed any portion of this, you will get to see the whole thing. So I appreciate everyone that showed up. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.